So you guys saw each other in person. So when was the last time you saw each other in person? Pre-pandemic?
It was January 2020, right?
2020,
Yeah, in Sacramento.
And little do we know, just a mere 2 months later.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we got to see each other on Friday. It was the first time, and that's the beauty of Melissa, is you pick up right where you left off. It is absolutely, without skipping a beat, her and I have grown close over the last couple of years. And that would have happened even if we were in person or online. But the whole, we're in business. We worked very closely together the last couple of years. So I was calling her regularly. We were on meetings regularly. So seeing her socially was very cool. It was a treat.
I mean, so isn't that weird? Because we all know each other, right? So you see each other in these little boxes and stuff. But I had my first event 2 weeks ago where I saw people in person for the first time in 2 years also. It's kind of like, oh my God, so good to see you. But I did see you last week on my show, but it's good to see you. And it's like, isn't that weird? It's the weirdest social thing.
Right. We all kind of learn new rules of engagement, right? Like we didn't know what to do in March, and like we started learning how to interact. But then we talked about it a little bit where you were so easily distracted when you're on a call or a meeting like this. It's easy to multitask and you're not getting that full self. But when you're in person, you benefit, and it's so much interaction. And it's so cool to see one another. So I think we're gonna have to learn again how to be in person, how to act like adults and wear shoes and pants all the time,
Oh my God. So I made this, so what I had to do is host a book event at Barnes & Noble at the Grove. And my friend's a famous actor, and I was hosting it. I was going to do the Q&A and stuff. So the whole week I was like, James, it's a big deal for you, I'm like, yeah, I do this for a living, blah, blah. But that morning, I told him this last, that morning I panicked. I was like, I gotta wear pants. You just said pants, like, I gotta like not sweats,
right?
Not basketball shorts. I gotta find pants.
Real grown-up pants.
So my first joke there was like 200 people there. My first joke on stage was, I win today because I found pants that fit. And everybody could relate. And I said, well, people were like, what? I go, so yeah. So it literally, in my closet, I went to the back of the closet. That doesn't fit. That doesn't fit. Way in the back, there's this one pair of pants. Found it. I was like, basically, I was in Narnia. I was like trying to find pants. I mean, Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe had to help me. I was like,
well, if you went missing, we know where we'd find you. We'd be in the back of there looking through all your pants and clothes and things falling on top of you. And
Whoa, it was crazy. But I was like, I can wear pants. You just said pants. Like, I have to wear like real, like, because from here up, I'm always ready. But I'm like, oh yeah, I gotta wear shoes. Like, I remember in 2020, I didn't wear regular shoes the whole year. Then and after I got vaccinated last year, I went to my first kind of semi-event. I was like, oh, I gotta wear shoes. My feet were like, what are you doing? My feet were like, you're encasing us in something. Like, they felt like they were being held hostage for like 2 hours. My feet were hurting. They're like, why are they in shoes? Not in sandals and flip-flops. I mean, it's kind of crazy what we have to go through these days. But that's still cool. You guys saw each other. And I heard you were, had a weekend of fun.
Oh yeah. I was just catching Melissa up that, when she called me and said, join us on Monday, I was like, sure, Monday sounds fine. But then I always forget that Monday it's a hit or a miss thing. I'm too old if I go out or socialize 2 days, it happens.
We just talked about our last episode. We just talked, literally, Marissa, did we just talk about this?
Yeah, we were talking about it. In fact, we're talking about it so much, we concocted a challenge, James and I did. And you're going to have to come, Bryon.
I want to hear it.
Because you're still doing what we're talking about we haven't done for so long. You're going to show us the way.
Oh, okay.
And we're going to document the partying that's going to go on.
Yes.
That's going to start at, what did we say, James? Like pregame 9, go out at 10-ish.
Yeah. Oh, no.
Dance until the wee hours of the morning. And Bryon, you're going to be there leading the way.
You would be so disappointed at what you would consider and I would consider partying are vastly different. My vision is like 5:30, 6 o'clock, get together, hang out for a few hours. I'm home in bed by 10. And maybe an episode of Yellowstone, throw that on and fall asleep. That's my night. the wife and I, we call that success, right?
That's what we're saying too. That's what we did.
Right.
I went to dinner after 8 o'clock the other night, and my younger friend says to me, "Thank you, James, for coming out after 8 o'clock." I mean, like that, because literally my friends know.
Right.
Jamie's in house. He's in a robe and slippers at 8 o'clock. He's not going nowhere after that with a glass of wine.
I was like, what are you in Europe going out to dinner that late? All of a sudden, you're European. Yeah. Oh boy.
Yeah. So that's kind of so what you're saying is what we're used to ourselves.
Right.
Challenge.
There's nothing wrong with that. We're doing it right. All of us. We're doing it right.
Listen, he says nothing wrong with it. He says we should be okay to be done by 8.
We are totally okay. It's just to try and relive or capture your 21 something ish kind of party self sounds like fun coming out of the pandemic. I'm just saying we should try it.
Yeah, I could do it maybe for a day or two, but then
Bryon, I've seen you party for how many years now? You can do this.
Right. All right. Well, with the right support group, maybe we can pull this off. So there you go. It'll be like a science experiment or documentary. We'll make it for the sake of everyone. It'll be easy. We'll do this.
That's what we're saying. It's gonna be a total science experiment.
Right on.
I'm like, woo, I'm gonna do it on Friday, so I have Saturday and Sunday to recover. We're not gonna be. Yeah, that's gonna be a little. I may need Monday morning too. Who knows? But we're gonna see how. Because I was like going to eat out late at 3 a.m, greasy food. I'm like, I haven't done that in years. I don't. My stomach can take that either. I'm like, I take my probiotics and stuff. I'm like, what's going on here? That's how old I am.
And antacids, we got it covered. Don't worry.
Good.
It'll be fine.
Your Prilosec or whatever. I'm like, yeah, I got all kind of stuff for my stomach. I'm lactose intolerant too. It's crazy. It's all crazy when you get older. They don't tell you this stuff. I'm like, they don't warn you about any of this stuff when you get older. They say, yeah, you should live a long time and be fine. They don't tell you the little things that happen that change. I was like, I can't have cheese anymore. That's crazy. So yeah.
All right.
Yeah, but I'm learning how to live with it. There's some lactose-free cheeses, and that's what my life is now. So it's not really fun.
Sounds like a new sponsor for the James Lott Jr. show.
Totally. Totally. Hi, and I'm lactose intolerant. Are you? No, yeah.
Right.
It's crazy. No, but it's good to see. So happy New Year, because I've talked to you this year. So happy New Year. So
it's been a while.
I actually had a question back in January for people. How long do you say Happy New Year?
Wow,
everybody was like, everybody was like, that's a good question, because I know some, I'll joke with certain people, like you, and just go, Happy New Year, because I'm talking to you. Obviously, it's almost April.
Right.
Most times I do all the month of January, and then
For sure. Yeah.
What about both of you guys? What do you guys think about that?
I was thinking like third weekend January, to kind of taper off in that week, because I've heard it, hundreds of times by then.
Yeah, it is kind of one of those greetings, though. You just automatically throw out there for the first few weeks of January, maybe till the next holiday hits us. So would I get permission to Happy New Year through maybe Valentine's Day? I don't know. Could we say that's the till the next holiday takes over? But yeah, you're right. It's New Year's it's a fleeting thing. It's 2-3 weeks. I'm with Melissa. I think it's 3 weeks.
But it's funny you said about the next holiday thing. It's very interesting. I didn't know that either. Like you say it, because I know people with like Christmas trees. There's certain cultures like we don't take them down to after the 6th or Three Kings Day or Epiphany.
January 6th, yeah.
But some folks they leave it up. They leave them up the whole month of January. I have friends who take them down right after Christmas or right after New Year's. Or like done. That's another one. It's kind of like It's very interesting how that's or Christmas lights stay up all year long. I have friends who do that. It was hard getting them up there, so I was leaving them up there. I just won't turn them on. Well, okay. But I take my down. I have a whole system, take them all down. I mean, it's very interesting when it comes to time. And the pandemic. Everybody wants Christmas year round now at this point. So all that Hallmark Channel, all that stuff, it's Christmas all year. They want the feeling of Christmas.
Right. Well, we're almost there, right? Christmas is only a few months out. I get those friends that they post those memes and things like, only 9 more months till Christmas or whatever it is, or 8 more months. And I'm just like, stop it. Stop it.
I know. That's crazy. All I know is my birthday's in a month and a half. I'll be 53. So we're gonna work it out somehow. And my last 3 birthdays weren't good because of the pandemic. So I'm like, should I try something this year? I don't know.
Yes, you should try something this year, James.
Yes, please try. I'm afraid to
celebrate your birthday this year.
I didn't celebrate 50, 51, 52, all because of stuff. And I'm like, now we're kind of coming out of this. I'm like 53, not the big year.
So make it your 50th. Just tell everybody it's your 50th because the other ones didn't count. So you can just make this your 50th and then you get those years back now.
I want those years back. I do.
Right.
I sleep with snakes in my face. I see my I'm like, please go away, go away. It's crazy. If I didn't have this, I'd be okay. Actually, I had a beard come in for me. I'm like, ooh, it's all kind of gray. I'm like, I'm Santa. That happened. Like, well, Bryon, you know how that is.
Yeah.
It's good on you.
Well, thank you.
I'm like, where'd it come from? I wasn't like that a month ago. I mean, it's happening faster.
Just embrace it. Yep. Just embrace it.
Well, I have a gray story. Actually, it's a white story that I'm not at all embracing, which are my eyebrows coming in white.
Oh,
wow.
Now for a woman, that's a big no-no. Like, that's like, no,
Wow.
not
Well, then you can
here.
can't you just color them whatever color you want? So maybe you're onto
Yes,
something there.
yes, yes,
Some
you
days
can,
you can
but
give them a little, maybe go purple one day or go
you could even
brown.
do some permanent makeup, or you could have your hairstylist like dye to match your, hair, but I don't want this on my face.
Fair enough.
I have it on my scalp, draping my face, but I don't literally want it on my face. So I'm like learning to color my eyebrows now, no joke, because they're starting to come in white at 52.
Well, can you give yourself like high ones or mad ones or
That would be
thinking ones or
okay.
you could totally
So
own this.
This girl is not a makeup artist. I can barely draw a straight line from my eyeliner.
All right.
Yeah, it's not pretty. But one of my friends who's been on the show, Veronica James, has been on the show.
Love
She is a makeup girl. So as soon as I see her, I'm taking her shopping and I'm like, we have to fix this. I want perfect shading. Show me how to do it. Until now, I'm just kind of figuring it out on my own.
Well, we got it lucky. I tell you, as men, we don't got to deal with that kind of thing, and I'm the first to admit it's tough for ladies when you got to worry about all the dye and the coloring and all that stuff. And with men, we're like, oh, gray is nice. We'll take it. With ladies, you're having to bring stylists and colorists and all these people to go spend money on things. So yeah, we got it easy.
Well, men have the other issue that I'm noticing.
That's a different show.
But but I'm going to show you some kids. A little reveal. So I got hair.
Woo!
I got a lot of hair. And so a lot of my friends.
You know what I thought just then? And I don't mean to be mean, but literally it popped in my head. Chia pet.
Exactly.
It's exactly what happened when you took your hat off.
It's a chia pet.
And I love your hair.
And grow it. Why aren't you letting that out all the time? That looks fantastic.
I do. No, I do. But for this show, I tamed it this morning. But you're a man. Almost every one of my male friends is envious of my hair because a lot of them have hair. Yeah. And so I know for men, that's the issue.
Okay.
Losing their hair, where I don't have that problem clearly at all.
Wow.
My hair people are like, your hair is so healthy. But that's what's funny. I'm looking at both of you guys. You both look amazing for your ages, for any ages, but having gray hair. And I think that's something that we're always taught to diet. Even with guys in Hollywood, I'm in Hollywood, they want me to dye this. James, you look 10 years younger if you just dye this. But I don't have any wrinkles. You don't have any wrinkles. We're doing good.
Yeah.
But the great thing, I look at both of you guys and I admire you both. They're just like, you're gray. Next.
So that was not voluntary on my part. Just so you know, I can't take the high road. I'd still be coloring, honestly, if I wasn't allergic to the dye.
Oh.
And I tried organic and I tried all the other stuff to just hold on, but no.
Not at all. You wear it well. It looks
Thank
great.
you. I had no choice. I had to embrace the gray.
I started going gray very early. My dad he went gray super early. But when I started going gray, my first instinct was just shave my head. So I wore a shaved head for the longest time. And then when I started growing it back, friends, Melissa knows a few of these gentlemen, they thought I went and got hair plugs because all of a sudden I had hair. Right. And we were at an event for an industry event one night. And one of my buddies says, Bryon, the plugs look great. I said, what are you talking about? Because they'd always known me to have a shaved head. And so when I got hair, they all thought I had they thought I had plugs. So I'm like, come on, guys. So it was either gray or bald, and I decided, you know what, let's go gray. So
how'd you look bald?
I was low maintenance. It was great.
Oh, it's easy. It's easy. Trust me, I remember I had bald hair too. It's easy.
But the older I get, and then I gain the weight, I'm just one big circle, just bald head. And so a little, you got to control your facial features a little bit with the beard, maybe a little hair.
Yes.
It's all a big game. It's just lighting and mirrors and shadows. That's all it is. Try to hang on.
It is. I know it's all smoke and mirrors. I understand that. But I know in Hollywood, I got a lot of times like, James, get the Just for Men and just do this. And, I'm like, no, I earned these gray hairs. I'm going to show them. And they're distinguished.
For sure.
I don't want to look like everybody else. But my hair is not that bad. I don't really have not that much gray. So I'm lucked out. I don't know what's going on. Because my family grays early too. They say when you have darker hair, you'll gray faster with somebody with lighter hair. A lot of times.
I've heard that.
And I have family, they got gray hairs in their 20s. I was like, oh, my father went gray in his 20s too. It was like 20s, 30s, he went gray. He was dying it for a while, and then he said he screwed it and said he just let it go. But now he's totally gray now. And like beautiful gray hair. My Aunt Faith, who's 80, has beautiful white hair. It's so curly and it's like a sheep. It's like a lamb. It's like, so I just want to touch it. Like, can I touch your hair? It's like, stop touching my hair. But it's so beautiful. Like it's even colored everywhere. Like it's just I'm like, if that happens, I want that to happen. I want it to be like that.
Nice.
If that's the direction I'm going. My mother, she's like, if I had $20 in my purse, my hair will always be dyed. She's like, that will not be. We are not gonna. I don't know what her color is. I don't even know what it is anymore. She's like, she'll never see my gray. And her and my daughter both, they gray in the front, they in the crown. So they're always like putting stuff on there. I'm like, okay, kids, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay.
Nice.
And now there's that gray movement for women, where the younger women are actually. How do you feel about that, Melissa? That the women are actually going gray on purpose in their 20s.
When I started growing it out, which was not a very pretty time for me, I would walk into Starbucks and I get these young girls coming up to me like, oh my God, your hair is so amazing. Who does it? I'm like, I'm so sorry. I'm actually growing it out. It's my hair. They're like, oh my God, that's so amazing. And they'd be like, and walk out the door. And I'm like, thank you, God.
You were ahead of it. You're trendsetter, Melissa. I knew it.
See?
Thank you for the timing thing worked out perfectly.
That's funny. I remember you when you didn't have gray hair. That's
I
remember you didn't have gray hair. It's so funny. You always had hair.
I had a lot of hair.
Me too.
And it was always brownish or blonde-ish, depending on my age. It got more brown, as I got older. And then I cut it like up to here because it started going gray. And you guys know that look, that gray, and then whatever the other color is.
Yes.
So I said to the hairstylist, cut it as short as you can for my big round face. And I'm just going to start growing it out. And it did. I mean, it was, you got to be patient. You got to have a lot of self-love.
She's awesome.
So I just let it grow out. And then now it is what it is.
That's great.
That's funny. So, Bryon, how are the kids? How's the wife? How's everybody?
Everybody's wonderful. My daughter, we just picked out her announcements for her graduation. So she graduates in May. I can't believe it. And wow. And she's going to prom in May. My wife got to buy her prom dress, which, these kids being in quarantine for the last few years, she hasn't really been to any dances her entire high school career. So she's got our big senior prom coming up in May. My son just wrapped a musical he was in at his high school, which blew us away. We didn't know he had it in him. He goes to an art school, but he does for visual arts. And so they had a play that he auditioned for and had singing and dancing and acting, and he nailed it. So we were blown away. So now I think he's caught the bug. So
I'll be interviewing him on one of my shows one day.
More to come. Exactly. Yeah, more to come. So, and then the wife and I were about to celebrate our 20th wedding anniversary next month.
Congratulations.
So, we've got a lot of milestones and big things coming up in the Pedevillano household. So we're so they're actually having a physical prom. Right. They are out there at Disneyland. I want to say California Adventure, one of those places. Yeah, but they're getting together. They're doing it. So yeah.
I always felt bad. I felt bad for the kids. I mean, I really did. I kept telling people social interaction is very important in their development. And for the last 2 years, they couldn't do it. And those milestones, we all got to do it. I mean, whether you wanted to or not. I mean, I went to prom. Like halfway, I didn't want to go to prom, but I went to prom. I took the wrong girl. I didn't want to take her. Anyway, but we all had those things, those dances, the proms, the grad nights, all that stuff. We had all that. And these kids, guys, I think they're just as important as the academics. I mean, it's like you have to have the social stuff. So I always felt bad for the kids the last couple of years who couldn't have anything social in person.
Yeah,
that's
question.
Good. That's good that they're going to do that. Everybody, just yesterday, the prom date and everything. Do you like him?
I do. He's a nice young man. I've met him a couple times, but again, they meet and hang out at school, and then they would never come out. They would go to their respective homes because of lockdown and COVIDs and shelter in place and all that stuff. So over the last 6 months, so we've met him a few times. Nice young man. So, who knows? Senior year, a lot goes on, a lot happens. I think, what if I stayed with the person I dated my senior year in high school, what that would look like. So that wouldn't have happened. So we're all good. So we tell Amelia, just enjoy yourself, be a senior, have fun, go to prom. It's going to happen soon. So she's about to get away to college. So we'll see what happens. So
are you going to have the talk?
There's so many talks have occurred. I've got an amazing wife, and she handles most of the talks. As long as I can remember, she gets the books. She's a teacher by trade, so she goes and gets the books, and she sits down with them and she educates them on that, and they're very well informed in all things relationship wise. And then, but there is one final talk to be had pre-prom. I just don't know how we're going to handle that. So we've done all the drinking and drugs and all that stuff. That's a no-brainer for these kids. That's a message that's stuck. But there's a few other dynamics maybe for another night. But we'll have those conversations.
Yes. I had those talks with my daughters, so I understand that. The mothers made me do it. They go, "You do it." They didn't want me to do it. So yes, I had those talks. But luckily, I had two girls who were very much their own brains, so they were very much not influenced by boys, so to speak. They had boys around. The boys were scared of them, which I loved. They were very athletic. My one daughter played water polo and had upper arm strength, and they were scared. They thought she was pretty, but they were scared of her. My other daughter played volleyball, and I was like, they were scared of her, but they liked her. And they each had boyfriends in high school, actually. Well, we allowed them to date at 16.
Right.
That's how we were. Yeah, we did. We were very strict about that. No makeup till 15, 16. There was some makeup. We had a whole thing, their mothers and I. But the thing was, at 17, 18, when they were about to go to prom, it was with their boyfriends. But they were like, talk to them, talk to them, what's going on. Let them know what's going on. And I just talk plainly. That's why, and I make things a little funny also. But we talked about it. But both my girls were very much kind of in control. They weren't easily swayed, thank God. Now I have a granddaughter who just turned 17, and now I'm watching her go to her. I'm like, oh my God, but she's kind of like them too. She's also one of those people like, "Hi, boys are tired." I'm like, "Thank you, good. I'm glad." But it's my grandson after him. See, boys, I was a boy, and I was gullible, and I was easy, and I'm just like, I'm worried about the grandson. I'm like worried about him.
Right. Yeah. We have that conversation all the time. Yvonne, my wife, will remind me, they're not you. Don't worry about it. They're not you. They're their own people, So, you start thinking about you start going through that list of things you did at their ages, and you're like, oh, dear Lord, Thank God there wasn't social media back then, and cameras at every corner.
Oh, thank God! You say that
people I knew would be in a lot of trouble. Not me, of course, but
oh no, not you.
Not Bryon. Not Mr. Pedevillano. No way.
Not I.
I'm telling you, there might be a Polaroid out there here and there, but other than that, I'm thank God there's no social media.
Right, a Polaroid, exactly.
Oh, thank God,
maybe
back then. And you just said that we stayed with who we were with and said, oh my God.
Oh my God, I would. No.
It gives you pause, doesn't it? You start thinking, we're not the same people we were back then. But yeah, I start thinking, and I still talk to the person I dated when I was in high school, but I could, that's a whole other conversation. But yeah, that's a whole different world,
Yes, you're right. When you said that, I'm like, you're right about that. I'm like, ooh.
Few years back too, by the way, more than a couple years, I think,
Oh, well, it's funny. So, so I do soaps, and so Bold and Beautiful just turned 35. Oh, wait a minute, that's the year I graduated high school. It was in 87. I'm like, oh my God, that's crazy. I'm like, they're 35. I'm like, oh my goodness, 35 years since high school. So I started laughing, and all my younger co-hosts were like, ah, I'm like, okay, whatever. That was 35 years ago. That soap started the year I graduated. I turned 18 and graduated high. Well, you too, Melissa.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's 87 too, right? Yeah, 87, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I'm just a few months younger than you, James. I remember when Bold and the Beautiful came out.
You too.
Because it was General Hospital, it's all my children, General Hospital
Yes.
Days of Our Lives. Those were the three big ones. And we're like, no one's going to break through. This is like, you know, the gold standard. There's no more room in daytime television. I mean, I remember having that reaction.
Yeah, same here. Yeah.
And 35 years later, I was so wrong.
You're wrong. And me too. And I work with them. So who knew 35 years later, I work with CBS. I mean, I never thought my wildest dreams. So, yes.
Some of my earliest memories of my mom were she would make a salad for lunch. This was in our first house. She would make, so we were young, make a salad. She would tell the girls, my twin sister and I, don't talk to me. Like, go play, go play. And all my children was her daily routine. And it aired at that time from 12 to 1. So it was lunch hour. Oh my goodness. I mean, I grew up watching my mom watch all my children. So then again, I became an Erica Kane fan, you know, the whole thing. And then we got switched over to General Hospital.
And I work with them. And it's just, and for me, it's weird because all these folks I grew up with, I've interviewed them now just about. And it's such a full circle.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
I'm friends with some of them. And some of them I'm actually friends with them. I know their families. I know they're behind it. It's like, this is weird. I grew up with my mother loving Young and the Restless. I was pregnant with your brother when Young and the Restless came out. Blah, blah, blah. And then I'm friends with Victor Newman, Eric Braid. I'm friends with this person. I'm friends with them. Like, I know them. They request me for interviews. I'm like, but we grew up watching you. And so this world is sometimes very odd in a great way, where you just go, that's weird. Because soaps were such a major thing in Americana. It's like all of our grandmothers, mothers, they raised us while watching soaps. Yep. Yeah. They really did. So, but when I saw it was like 35, like 35, like, wait a minute, I graduated high school 35 years ago. It would be our 35th anniversary. We had a thing. That's weird. And I'm going to a concert. Okay, so in June, this is crazy. So in June, I'm going with my daughter to see New Kids on the Block.
Wow.
But it gets better. So my brother-in-law, we're all around the same age, all in our 50s. He was like, James, did you see that mega concert that's happening at the Queen Mary in August? I'm like, no. So he got us tickets. It's all the old folks. We're all old. We're all going. It starts like at 1 PM. That's how old it is. And it's everybody. It is Lisa, Soul to Soul, Expos, like all these groups from the 80s.
Wow.
It's just huge. I mean, it's like, who else is coming? Who else is coming? I mean, it's this huge all-day event with all these artists who had like 2 or 3 hits at a time. And they're all going to be there all day long. I think it ends at 8. Like, it starts at 1. And I was like, that's for the old folks. Right. So we're all going to go together. And I said, I hope I have stamina to do this. I'm like, oh my God, I hope I can last for 7 hours.
You're going to recapture your youth in one afternoon, right?
I'm going to try.
All the people be dancing.
Literally, Taylor Dane, Tiffany, Debbie Gibson, like everybody's going to be there. Yeah. And they're all old too. I saw pictures and they're all old too. We're all old together. And so it should be actually a lot of fun. I mean, before the pandemic, the last thing I saw was the Donna Summer musical at the Pantages. And everybody from like our age group was there. There was no young people. And we were all dancing. They encourage you to dance and have fun with the music. And I thought that's really, it was a lot of fun. It was like, it's like you do for a minute, you capture. And then you go home and soak in a tub.
Take a few Advil.
Exactly.
That's it. That is it.
It's amazing. Oh, I love it. So I got those things to look forward to. Speaking of the old folks tours, those are later
for you
in the year. So I'm like, it'll be the first concerts in 2 years. Wow. And so I'm hoping that everything's be okay and that thing gets in the way of it from then. I think we're coming out of it a little bit. I think we are. I don't know.
Yeah.
Our new normal, I guess. It's always like, do I wear a mask or not wear a mask? It's like all this weird, like I said, the social stuff that we're all trying to learn. Do we hug? Do we fist bump? Do we elbow? I mean, everybody's kind of figuring that out. And it's such a weird, I feel like we're mole people coming out of the ground going, what's going on? You know, like Puxline Phil. Do I see my shadow?
You see your shadow, exactly. Yeah.
Winter, 6 weeks of summer. It's such a weird thing. It's such a weird thing.
It is.
All right, again. All right, so I am James.
And I'm Melissa.
And you are, tell me who you are.
Bryon Pedevillano, and I love you guys. Thanks for having me on again. It was great to see you.
Yes, we love you too, because you're always good. I tell you, every time I do a show with him, it does very well. So this is gonna be a hit. It's gonna be another hit. It'll be another hit. And you can follow us on all of the streaming services out there from iHeartRadio, Spotify, Google, and Apple. And of course, we're on YouTube on my online network, JLJ Media. And I have shows from Star Wars to everything in between, soaps and everything in between. So subscribe, follow, comment, grab some coffee with your friends, and have a conversation.